Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 psychology tricks to control everyone. Do you like having the upper hand and being in control? Maybe it's in meetings, or perhaps in social engagements. Maybe you'd like to make some more friends and win people over. Or maybe get the girl or boy of your dreams. Or maybe deal with an arch nemesis at school or work. Well, here are some tricks to help you do just that, and they work on everyone. Before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too? Coming in at number 10, we have enemies closer. So you've likely heard the mob phrase, keep your friends close but your enemies closer. It may not work in the mob, as if you keep your enemies too close, they might whack you. But in many social situations, it's good to keep enemies close. For example, let's say you're heading into a meeting and you know you're going to be in a room with someone who's going to be very negative towards you. Maybe you know they're going to give you some bad criticism or be aggressive and heated towards you. Well, if you think that's going to happen, then be sure to sit right next to that person, or at least as close as you possibly can in the meeting room. It may feel awkward at first, but you can use that to your advantage, as you won't be the only one feeling awkward. Close proximity is actually proven to make people less aggressive. It's easy to yell at someone across the room, but most people won't do it right to their face. If they're planning on being negative towards you, they won't want you sitting right next to them. This will likely disrupt their plans and mean you won't need to face criticism or aggression. Next up is name drop. So it seems so simple, but names can actually make a massive difference in many situations. But it's all about how you use their names or their titles depending on the situation. Dale Carnegie, who wrote the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, said names are very important. One great way to win people over is use their name a lot. For example, instead of saying, hey, what's your favorite drink? Say, hey Mark, what's your favorite drink? This personalizes it to them. It also validates their existence, which makes them feel very positive. Now, this sounds all pretty crazy and you're likely thinking, I don't mind whether someone uses my name or not. But subconsciously, everyone secretly likes people using their names. But you don't just have to do this with names. You can also do it with titles. For example, if you want to be someone's friend, you can just start by calling them friend. I mean things like saying, hey friend, how's it going? Or you could say, hey mate, listen to this. And you can also do this for people you work for. For example, you could refer to someone you work for as boss. This can come off as a bit cheesy, so be warned about that. But names are a great way to make friends and influence people. And it even works if someone doesn't like you. Just using their name in conversation could make you much more likable to them. Next up is in the eye. So we all know that when it comes to communication, eye contact is key. There's a lot of things the eyes say that the mouth simply can't. But not many people know this very crafty way to use eye contact. You shouldn't make constant eye contact in conversations, as this could come off as pretty creepy. Be sure to look away and blink every now and then. But a great way you can use eye contact is when you get a dissatisfactory answer to a question. Let's say you get an answer to a question you've asked and you don't understand it. Instead of repeating the question or asking another one, just look the person in their eyes. This will make the person feel under pressure and concerned, and this will then cause them to elaborate on their thoughts. You can also use this if you want to get more information out of someone. For example, if you say to your husband, where were you last night, and they say at the bar, you can then not say anything else and simply stare into their eyes. This will force them to elaborate and maybe even come clean about where they really were and what they were really doing. This is a technique used by interviewers all the time, and it really does work well. Next up is flatter me. You've likely heard the phrase, flattery will get you anywhere. Now, at first, this may seem obvious, but many misuse this trick, as if flattery is not sincere, it's going to do more harm than good. First off, you need to find what is called a cognitive balance in people. For example, if someone has high self-esteem, you should flatter them. This is because they'll take it sincerely and they'll like you more. This is because it validates how they're feeling about themselves anyway. But if you flatter someone with low self-esteem, they won't take it sincerely. This is because it backfires on how they view themselves. You may think you're boosting them up, but really they just won't take it seriously. When you're dealing with a low self-esteem person, just be polite and nice to them. Just being polite and kind will actually be way more effective than flattering them. So now you know how to deal with very confident, high self-esteem people and people with low self-esteem. Next up is mirroring. So this is a great way to win people over, but it's an even better way to show someone you're attracted to them subconsciously. Mirroring can be described as acting like a social chameleon. That is because it's the best way to adjust and blend into new environments. And it's super easy too. All you need to do is copy everyone else around you. This means their behaviors, mannerisms, and speech patterns. This allows you to fit in well and become more likable in an unfamiliar situation. For example, if you're talking to a girl at a bar and they begin playing with their hair, play with your hair too. Don't do this in a ridiculously obvious way. Otherwise, they may think you're mocking them. Instead, do it very subtly and calmly. Also, try and mirror people's facial expressions. For example, if someone is smiling with their teeth, do the same thing back to them. This will make them feel more validated and boost up their self-esteem. The same can be true if someone's feeling down. For example, if someone is sad and looking down, don't look straight at them. This seems aggressive and gives you the upper hand. Instead, go down to their level and look down yourself. This will connect you both and make you appear more nice and agreeable. Next up is ignoring haters. So this is something that sounds easy but many people struggle with. Whether you're at school, work, or in your own home, you may have haters. People may make snark remarks to try and bring you down, and naturally as humans we try and defend ourselves. So how exactly does ignoring the haters really work? Let's say someone's making fun of you for not having a girlfriend. Many people would try and jump in and defend themselves. They might try and come up with a bunch of excuses as to why they don't have a girlfriend. Or perhaps they'll stoop to the haters level and start hating on the hater, saying you don't have a girlfriend either or something. But you actually look much better if you simply ignore the haters. You can generally look in their direction and then just move on and don't say anything. This will cause them to look silly and then they'll back down. There's nothing people dislike more than being ignored, so just ignore them. If they do actually push back, then try and respond in the nicest way possible. For example, instead of attacking them back, just say, yeah, I haven't really found the right person yet. After that, there's really nowhere else they can go and they just look like a bit of a scumbag. So guys, if you have haters, try just saying nothing towards them. It's often the best way and makes you look good and them look bad. Next up is warm handshake. When it comes to non-verbal communication, handshakes are key. We already know that you should have a strong grip to your handshake. But another thing many people don't know is that you should also have a warm handshake. Try rubbing your hands together to warm them up before shaking someone's hand. You could put them in your pockets or maybe touch a hot drink. Anything to get them hot before shaking someone's hand will help. That is because cold hands are linked to distrust. When you shake someone's hand, make sure it's warm, otherwise they may not trust you. Warm hands promote a friendly atmosphere and will make you much more likable. It may sound like a small, silly thing, but it is a psychological thing which has been proven by science. Next up is keep SCHTUM. In case you haven't heard the phrase keep SCHTUM, it means be quiet. You may think that when it comes to communication, it's all in the talking. But sometimes, not saying anything can be much more effective than speaking. For example, telling people they're wrong is a bad way to get them to like you. This is because it strikes at the core of their ego and makes them seem silly. But let's say you really do have to correct someone when they're wrong. Well, you can use something called the Ransberger pivot. This was something made by Ray Ransberger and Marshall Fritz. And it's simple, instead of arguing about an incorrect point, find out why they feel that way. Then you can explain the common ground you share with them and then explain your point. This allows you to correct them without calling them silly to their face. Also, they're much more likely to come around to what you have to say. We all know everyone likes backing down in arguments and admitting they were wrong. But if you use the Ransberg pivot, you can get people to do this much easier. Next up is help needed. So for many people, asking a favor can be a daunting task. What if the person says no and refuses to help you? Well, there is a way to boost the chance of you getting a favor by 50%. All you need to do is start the phrase off by "I need your help." This may sound quite dramatic if it's something small, but it's still worth doing. This is because it makes people feel needed and validated. And it will also make them feel guilty if they say they don't want to do the favor. If you simply start off the favor by saying "I need your help," you're much more likely to receive the help you need. So try this out next time you need a favor from your colleague, friend, or teacher. Next up is posture. So having good posture is always a good idea. But how can a posture trick help you to boost your confidence? Let's say you don't feel confident in your own skin. This is likely because you're worried about not coming off confident in the first place. Well, even if you're not confident, you can make everyone else think that you are. If you want to be seen as a confident person, then be sure to take up a lot of space. This is referred to as a power position. For example, check out this picture of how Vladimir Putin sits. It's very open and makes him look very confident. Also, whenever Donald Trump sits down, you can see him spreading his belongings around the table. This is a way of him taking up a lot of room and appearing more confident. After you appear more confident to others, this will then make yourself feel more confident. And this can be done while standing up and sitting down, so be sure to try this out and boost up your confidence. Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the best psychological trick. I think it's the keeping enemies close, as that is so helpful. If you guys want more amazing videos, including tip videos, then check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now, leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.